Consider this your trigger warning. The following program is strictly satire and is not meant to be taken seriously. So don't get all butthurt, you liberal snowflakes, just because we skewer your sacred cows and expose all your lies and hypocrisy. Truth hurts, and so does satire. So grab a drink, pull up a chair, and enjoy the show.
Well, it is Sunday Night Live. It is time for the zoo, so let's get it on. Welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. Yeah, I had a couple of days off. Didn't get a whole lot done, but I tell you what, I got some rest in, took care of some, just lots of little things, you know. Had a 4th of July that was not, I tell you what, listen, normally down here in Florida, 4th of July, you got drifting clouds of noxious gas blowing by from fireworks. Normally it's banging 2 hours before sunset, way past midnight. This year, very, very, very small. I'm talking in the neighborhood I was at, which is the same one I was at last year. We had maybe a total of 10 mortar shells go off. You know, the kind that go up and really give you a big boom. Basically, commercial grade fireworks. This year, just 10. Last year, it was probably 1 a minute. If you want to do averages all night long, it's like living in a gun range. But here, this year, and you know what that told me? It did not tell me that there were fewer Trump supporters. It did not tell me they don't love America. What it told me is people are hurting for money. It's not the same. It's not the same as normal years. I think Biden is finally putting the fucking hurt on everyone. Crazy business, folks. Crazy business. But we're all American, and people flew all the flags they always fly. In fact, the number of Trump flags out was enormous, and I enjoyed it. Whether I was near the water or just driving down the road, Trump flags and American flags. Got to love it. Anyways, this is Sunday Night Live, which means everyone who does a super chat donation can put their questions up on the screen. And I have to say this, Darcy T, you sent in a $50 super chat donation. Be sure and get your super chat question in my email. I don't have that one yet. And I keep looking. I'm like, where is it? Where's Darcy? I've got some other stuff she sent, folks. And man, has the Jim Jones juice been working overtime lately. And we also have some special information from Chin Music, as well as other very important people in the world of the Prepared Mind Network. And that is all of you guys. And folks, I got to tell you, if it wasn't for you guys as sponsors, individually sponsoring the show on Sunday Night Live, we wouldn't be here right now. In fact, I want to thank www.cafefe.com for delicious coffee, and of course a very humorous shirt, and also this coffee mug, right? Cafefe.com and coffee, probably the best coffee I've ever had. I've had a lot of good coffee. I mean, once you get to 10 on a cup of coffee, you can't go any higher. How do you get better than just the very best coffee? And folks, cafefe.com really is. In fact, in another week and a half, I'm going to be out of Cafefe coffee. Not a good scenario. Not good at all. But you can go to their website. You can order it up. Always good. Always deplorable. Always first thing in the morning good. Anyways, I'm going to start this show with Chin Music. He did a $52.23 super chat donation through Venmo. That's right. You got the super chat button here, but we also have PayPal, Venmo, and CashApp. Now, we have an explosive situation going on in America. And then a lot of stuff that's flying under the radar. We'll try and get to all of it, but it's your show on Sunday Night Live. It's the zoo. We've got the preparedmind.club. We've got subscribestar.com, and we have youtube.com live right now. We're all together, and that's why we call it the zoo. We put all of us crazy wild animals together, folks. Whatever you want to talk about, folks, it's going on out there. You've got incredible amounts of political intrigue, backstabbing, just plain old screwballs everywhere. You've got racists. You've got fake white supremacists. You've got idiots extraordinaire. You've got communists fighting socialists. And then you've got it's all going on, folks. It is hit the fan, and it is preparing to erupt. Now, Chin Music did a $50 super chat donation plus a 223 bonus on top of it. And he's got some advice and a story for everybody. Some advice and a story for everybody. And let me go with the story. You're going to like this, folks. He says, let everybody know I got caught while I was distracted, and I was surprised, right? But he was in a good store in a nice part of town. He said this was interesting. What happened? And here we go. He says it's getting crazy out there. While walking into a store yesterday, I'm looking at some items outside, and some dude yells, "I'm going to knock your white ass out." And by the way, Chin Music happens to be a white dude. He says, I didn't know who was yelling, but it was at me. And then he's just laughing out loud. So I had this hat on, and he stood calmly and noticed baggy sweats, no pockets, so no gun. Maybe he had a knife. So he walked up to me, and when he got close enough, I said, quote, "You might want to read my hat. This isn't your lucky day. I'll give you a few seconds to reassess your options. Then, if you choose to, I'll allow you to take a swing at me, but just everything after that will be perfectly legal, and you probably won't leave this parking lot under your own power." End quote. Oh, it's good stuff. By the way, his hat said martial arts instructor. Okay, we'll just keep it at that. It said martial arts instructor. He says he was half in the bag, meaning stoned out of his mind or drunk, and called me a couple of cracker epithets, nicknames, derogatory comments, and then strolled off. This couple in the parking lot were stunned, and they must have called the cops because when I came out of the store, he, meaning Big Mouth, was being questioned. This shit is getting out of control, John. It's only a matter of time. The race shit is really being pushed hard. Thank you very much for sharing that with us, Chin Music. And this is important. This is an addendum to the story that he sent me via email. He said, please also impress upon the Prepared Mind family the importance of awareness and physical skills. They are a must. You can't always carry. Yeah, he was in a nice part of town at a nice store, minding his own business. And it's not like Chin Music is small or something. I mean, he's 200 pounds, you know. I would call him a regular guy, but I know he's bigger than most. But still, just minding your own business, being a decent human being, and someone wants to start some shit with you. Now, another very close friend of mine also. Oh, let me finish up with Chin Music here. It says you can't always carry, or you don't think about it, or and that happened. You know, I mean, every now and then I'll go out without a firearm, but I don't tell any people. Okay, I'm coming out, world. Don't do that, right? But the importance of awareness, looking around you and noticing, and physical skills. Okay, if you don't have your gun, you know, how are you going to defend yourself and others? What's your best move? What's your best approach? What's your best strategy? And of course, there's so many different variables. It would be difficult let's just call it impossible to describe them all here. But yeah, and I've got to say this. For Chin Music's part, he gave the guy a chance to realize his mistake, think about it. But the guy was a complete racist asshole. He picked a fight with someone because of their skin color. And then he made racial derogatory remarks. Can you imagine if Chin Music made a racially derogatory remark back? Would the guy have jumped him? Would he then claim, well, he called me the N-word, right? Crazy stuff, folks. But this is the world we live in now. Now, another very close and dear friend of mine has had trouble as well. Only this person is a she. And she was walking to her car one day, and this is in the state of Florida. And she was called an entitled white bitch, obviously by a person of color, because she was getting in her car. Why would that even be necessary? Just walking through a parking lot, going to get in the car. And in another instance, the same friend shared with me that she was standing in line at like a Ross, right? Not a Macy's or a Nordstrom's or a Dillard's, nothing like that. Just standing in line, and some woman just started screaming, "I saw you looking at me, you bitch," and went off on her. Same friend of mine, she's white, but she said, yeah, from back in the line somewhere. I guess they got some kind of line that snakes through some like those things at a park back and forth. And she's like, I didn't know if she was talking to me or someone else, right? But she kept screaming, "I'm going to kick your ass. As soon as I get through this line, I'm going to beat your ass in the parking lot." And I mean, she gave me a lot of generous language to use, but I said, I'll tone it down a little bit. But screaming and yelling. And she says, I have no idea this person was even there. When I started looking to see where the yelling was coming at, I noticed that, I could barely see her over the top of the aisles. And there she was, she just exploded in rage. And she said by the time she checked out, got outside the door, the police were already there. They asked my friend a few questions. She went over to her car, got in it to leave, looked over, and the police were questioning the woman who just erupted in racist abuse. Now, the reason I've shared these two stories is, well, I heard them, got them this weekend, and also because the political apparatus in Washington, D.C. is using race. And it's rather disgusting, in my opinion. It really is. It's rather disgusting. It is the government. It is. And did you know that the Patriot Front showed back up this weekend as well? Just in time for 4th of July weekend. Well, some good people out there in the world of social media caught them showing up in U-Haul trucks. I thought, in fact, the person filming it, I think someone made a comment, I thought it was illegal to transport humans in the back of moving vans, big giant moving trucks, U-Hauls. But they rolled up truck after truck after truck. They popped the back doors, and apparently the police were there to protect them. I don't know why they weren't cited for illegal transportation, but they all got out wearing their stupid shirts and their stupid khaki pants and their bullshit regalia, of course, wearing masks, fully masked. And my belief is if you're wearing a mask at a protest, you're planning on committing crimes and you don't want to be captured or recognized. But they showed up to bring this racist stuff to the forefront. I really believe that the Patriot Front is not a white supremacist hate group in America. I believe they are FBI and other federal agents who are paid to be there to try and foment racial hatred and dissent. Now, I don't get it. I don't understand why my friend was verbally attacked on 2 occasions. I don't understand why anyone would go after Chin Music. He is a normal looking dude. He looks normal to me. He doesn't look like Hulk Hogan, right? Well, actually he does, but just a normal size version, right? He's not a big giant 6'6" fucking monster. Anyways, I don't know why anyone would go after him. He's a nice guy, for fuck's sake. He wears shirts that are a little insulting, sure, but well, I find them humorous. One man's joke is another man's insult. Anyways, it's continuing, folks. Now, I have gone through the last 3 freaking years in the South and have never been insulted, Never have anyone even mad dog me. Fucking polite people everywhere. It doesn't matter what color, folks. I've met nice Muslims. I've met nice black people. Dozens and dozens and dozens. Handshakes, high fives, civilians, police, young, old. It don't fucking matter. But they're pushing this race stuff, and it's starting to cause people to lose their shit. It really is. And it's just, I find it to be disgusting. And it is, as far, Chin Music quote, this shit is getting out of control. It's ridiculous. So yeah, we do have to be prepared. We have to be aware of our surroundings. I have seen too many videos of people being ambushed because, well, they're not paying attention. Yeah, that person is white. That person's black. That person's white. That person's Hispanic. That person is, I don't know. I watch them all. I don't care. If anyone is giving me the least amount of attention, I'm giving them a lot more. I'm paying attention. And then if someone's giving me attention, I'm watching everyone else as well. Because typically, criminals and thugs, and this is a hot tip for everyone, they don't work alone. Typically, they don't work alone. Meaning there's a getaway driver, there's someone watching, there's someone spotting, going, yeah, that guy there. And they'll watch people, who's the target? That person, that person. If they're going to victimize someone, typically they don't go and try and rob a gun store. Even though that has happened, and there's lots of videos of those idiots getting shot on the spot. Don't rob a gun store. But they look for easy targets. So don't make yourself an easy target. Keep your awareness up. Understand in every situation you're in, what is my defense? Right? And your defense could be running. Your defense could be being small. Your defense could be to not look conspicuous. Right? Some people, they just attract a lot of attention. They do. And so they catch a lot of shit. Like my friend, she got yelled at twice for being white. She didn't do anything. She just stands out a little bit in the crowd. I don't know what it is. I would say lots of blonde hair, but look at this fucking head. I stand out like a freaking 7-foot tall Q-tip. In any event, it's all good. I mean, folks, chance favors the prepared mind. It's not just a cute slogan, but it is the zoo. It is the zoo. And we've got a lot to talk about. Let's get into it. Mr. Uman, do we want to do some super chats? I think so. So let's go with Z and App, or is that Zandap, with a 1776 super chat donation right out the gate. Pow. Says, God bless you, Marine. Semper Fi to you, Zandap. He says, my dad was a sergeant in the Army and raised me right. I tell you what, folks, you don't have to be in the military. You don't have to be the son or descendant of fighting men, but it doesn't hurt any. It doesn't hurt any. But being raised correct, right? Say yes, sir, yes, ma'am, to adults. When you're a kid, you learn that. I remember being 4 years old, and getting the door for a woman at a grocery store in Sanger, California. I remember it was Sanger because that's where my great-great-grandmother lived. Anyway, she said, what a nice young gentleman. I was 4. And I was being called a gentleman for holding the door for, I considered her old. I don't know how old she actually was. She could have been 25 for all I freaking know. I was a kid. I was a tiny kid. But yeah, being raised right. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Being polite. Extending a hand of courtesy. Smiling and saying hello, thank you, please, etc. And when you fucked up, there's another part to being raised right. And I think Zand App understands this. When you fuck up, you feel it. You don't just get yelled at, you feel it. Blam! You get knocked out. I can't tell you how many times my own mother knocked me out of a chair because I was being a smart ass. Hey, you will respect your mother and father. And pow! That's being raised right. And I'd be like, Ma, And she'd say, well, I tell you what, when my dad was raising us, her and her sisters, if they were messing up, he would give them the Three Stooges. He'd take their heads and whack, smack them together. My mom would let me know, you got off light. I'm like, what are you talking about, light? You know? And she'd go to the closet, pick out a belt. And I go pick out a belt. And I saw a really cool gun belt that had belt loops with leather and shit for putting bullets in. I took that to my mom and go, there you go. She goes, you mess up again, I'm going to beat you to death with this thing. I was like, why did I pick that one? Holy shit. That being raised right means discipline. Discipline. Such a key factor in life. And I'll tell you what, Zandap, I was in boot camp, Marine Corps boot camp. I got out of processing, receiving, first morning with my graduation platoon, first morning, like 5 days in it. I can't remember how many days receiving was, every day blended into the next. No sleep, no food, sick, scared, fucked up. It was great. Great lesson, right? Getting dressed in the morning, right? Reveille, lights come on, right? Rise and shine, banging garbage cans and shit. I'm trying to get dressed, right? Pulling my boots up, speed laces, snugging them up, tying them off. And then they said, stop. And I didn't stop. I was bent over. I'm not done, man. You got to give me a chance to get dressed here. Shit, this is boot camp. This is serious business. I got to finish up. So this guy's name, and I'll give it to him. He was a mean son of a bitch. His name was Farr. F-A-R-R. Look him up if you dare. Good Marine. He came right down the middle of the DI highway. I stood at attention, and he hit me right in the guts. And I deserved it, earned it, and appreciate that to this fucking day. To this day. I don't think I've ever told the YouTube the name. If they can go find him, he's got to be close to 60 at this point. If they mess with him, I'll come punch them in the fucking guts. Anyways, it taught me a lesson. Discipline. Listen. Pay attention. Do as you're told. Be prepared. Anyways, I got a couple more weeks in. You know what I did? I wrote my mother a letter, as well as everyone else in the family, and told them I wish I had gotten more discipline. I wish she had been stricter. Raised right. Look, everyone, I know I'm harping on about this, but it is the 4th of July weekend. It is Independence Day weekend. We have some crazy shit going on in this world, and we need discipline. We need correct action. We need to know what the hell is going on and be prepared. We need to be on the defense and the offense. Crazy world out there. Anyways, thank you, Zandap, for the great donation. And if you've got something to say, right up there is the super chat button. Get your question on here. I will make you famous on Sunday Night Live. Okay, Mr. Ooman, let's do some more. Who else is out there? Who's got something to say? And it's Chin Music. You're the man. Oh, good God, man. You've got a sense of humor that just won't fucking quit. He says the Patriot Front ladies have a side hustle on OnlyFans. Woo! I tell you what. Yep. The Patriot Front. They're a bunch of fruits. Good stuff, Chin Music. Thanks, man, for always making me laugh and keeping it real. And folks, that's the other thing. You got to have a sense of humor. You just absolutely have to. You got to be able to laugh at these fucking idiots. You have to. Kind of like Kamala Harris. Do you know what that dumb broad had to say this weekend? She came out, and you want to talk about the hoe calling the kettle black? She said that President Trump is going to throw his political opponents in jail. She actually said that. The hoe calling the kettle black. And she's not black. That's why I had to have she can't be the pot calling the kettle black. She's the hoe. Anyways, you got to have a sense of humor and be able to take a few punches. And speaking of taking a few punches, there was a radio host who's been fired for interviewing Joe Biden. Why did a radio host get fired for interviewing Joe Biden? I wanted to know. So I looked into the story a little further. And I found out it's because the lady's black. And a lady. Why would a radio station fire a woman, and a black woman at that, because she interviewed Joe Biden. Well, it's because she read questions that were given to her by Joe Biden. Have a sense of humor, folks. Are you kidding me? In order to interview Joe, you have to accept that they'll give you the questions. So she got fired for actually getting the president on their radio station. It just doesn't make any sense. These people are eating each other and themselves alive. Kamala Harris letting everybody know how stupid she is. Oh, and it just gets better, folks. It's going to get nasty stupid. Yes, people are going to be out there assaulting one another, assaulting children, assaulting political opponents, assaulting police. They're just stupid. This is America, folks. Oh, it's going on in other countries as well. Don't worry. The assaults are off the hook around the world. People getting mad, losing their shit, attacking one another. Unbelievable, folks. And who's doing it? Who's calling this? Oh, the government. That's right. The government is doing this, or rather the governments. Everywhere around the world, they're doing everything they can. Everything they can. In fact, there's a big push to go to freedom, liberty, nationalism, right? In other words, love your country. Just like, hey, the United States of America, right? The flag or symbol of my branch of service I was in, right? We're supposed to love our country. Well, in France, it looked like Marine Le Pen was going to wrap up, right, control of that country, France. Well, it turns out the left has decided to unite in order to defeat Marine Le Pen, right? Hardline communists called the New Popular Front. They've joined Macron's sissy socialists, right? Because they need to stop Marine Le Pen and push this save France from jihad invasion. And now it looks like France is doomed, folks. Like it's now cooked. The other parties have come together and joined together to create basically a two-party system, kind of like America, where we have people who love America and people who hate America. In France, they now have people who hate France and love France. So they've gone from slow-moving socialism to hard and fast communism. And have we or have we not had that expression? All a communist is a socialist in a really big hurry. And of course, communists have no problem killing, well, their own people as well as, well, civilians in the country that they're supposed to be there to help. Anyways, we've got one heck of a show, folks. We got 2 hours tonight. We're already, can you believe it? 30 minutes into the show. Let's do it. If you've got something to say, I want to hear it. Hit that super chat button right up there. Get your comments, your questions, your thoughts on screen. Let's do it, Mr. Uman. And it's Mr. Skylight in the house with a $19.99 super chat donation. And he says, oh, he's got a quote. And I love it when Mr. Skylight does quotes. And I want to thank you, Mr. Skylight, for sending me the information today. Always good information, always overwhelming to boot. Folks, there's so much going on. By the way, share that internet address with friends, family, loved ones, even people you don't really care for that much. But help wake them up. Wake them up. And be sure to hit thumbs up down below. There's a thumbs up and a subscribe button. If you want to get into the chat, into the comments, you've got to be a subscriber. Hit the subscribe button. If you want everything, right, hit the subscribe button, thumbs up. Do it. Now, here's the quote from the great Winston Churchill. Quote, I no longer listen to what people say. I just watch what they do. Behavior never lies. Behavior never lies. What is it they're doing? They're destroying every country they touch. They do. They're destroying everything they touch. Crazy stuff. This crazy stuff, folks. It really is. In fact, England, they finally got Nigel Farage back into government. They finally got him elected in. Like France, trying to go to nationalist, let's protect our country, our culture, our people, our laws, etc. And Germany and the Netherlands. Britain is now trying to do the same thing. Remember, it took England, I think, close to 10 years to get out of the European Union, to Brexit. And that was, of course, because of Nigel Farage and his push to get out of the European Union, which was an absolute disaster for England. But now they're trying to get control of their country back. And so they've started moving to the right, kind of like, well, Ireland also, and Scotland also. Ireland is probably the loudest, but England, they're saying, enough of this crap. So Britain's loser prime minister, get this, on his first day in, says, no, even though you put us into power to get and deport all of these illegals, I'm not going to deport anybody. First day in, with the promise and hope of deporting and stopping the insanity which is destroying England, the guy changes, does a 180 of an about face, and starts screwing his own country over. And on top of that, we get an LGBS update from Britain's loser prime minister. He says, hey, I don't know if a woman can have a penis or not. Literally, the people are demanding nationalism, protection from invasion, holding up law and culture and tradition as more valuable than self-destruction and suicide. The retardation I'm speaking of, folks, is international, and it is embarrassing. And it's no wonder that the jihadis from around the world are not afraid to invade our country and then to commit all manner of crime, from stealing and murder and assault to raping underage girls everywhere. Everywhere, folks. Everywhere. Unbelievable. I no longer listen to what people say. I just watch what they do. Behavior never lies. And here we are. The guy who said, yeah, listen to me. I'm going to be a good prime minister and deport all the bad guys. As soon as he gets power, he shits on England. Kind of like Justin Turdhole up in Canada. Right? And for some reason, Canada keeps reelecting that guy. It must be the same disease, the mental illness. That's the same reason California keeps reelecting Gavin Newsom. And then California wonders why. It's completely jacked up. Completely being destroyed from the inside out. It's unbelievable. It truly is. It's unbelievable. So let's do this. Let's have some more fun. Let's do another super chat donation and see what's on your guys' mind. After all, it's your show. Your show. Oh, good golly. It's Chelsea Wirunga with a $49.99 super chat donation. And guess what? I forgot to do my scotch. It was the crazy ass, whatever color, the purple color, Glenlivet 15-year single malt scotch for every super chat donation of $50 or more. Woo! And I think I owe Chin Music one as well. Oh, yes. Here we are. You can actually, in this, you can actually smell the just a little bit of the wine barrel they used to age this. Semper Fi, Chelsea and husband. Wow. Nice. Very nice. Very. I tell you, man, the alcohol will make you kind of cough a little, but the flavor is just so smooth. And this one is for Chin Music. Good stuff, folks. And here's to you, Chin. Thank you. I really do, folks. I'm totally impressed with the fact that Chin Music gave the guy a chance to think about it. He had the luxury of that. because he had the luxury of the guy firing a warning shot at him, right? The insult, I'm going to kick your ass, Whitey, that sort of thing. He gave him a chance to think about it. I'll tell you what, Chin, you're lucky the man could read and read the words on your hat. Otherwise, there may have been an ass kicking that the dude had no idea was coming. But then you'd have to do police reports and yada, yada, yada. God bless Texas. Like mother's milk. Good golly. Thank you, Chelsea. And she says and writes, God bless America and the Constitution. My parents disciplined me the same way. Kids now need the same. More than ever, kids need discipline. And folks, look, I was just a regular guy growing up, and I just never stopped growing till I was age 27, hit 6'7". And I've shrunk a little since then. But, I started getting big for my britches. Even before I was big for my britches, I was big for my britches. And I get knocked around, and I learned great lessons from it too. I got my ass beat by bullies, people who thought if they beat me up, they could date my sister, shit like that. It teaches you a great lesson, discipline. But there's so much love in the discipline. So much love in the discipline. I had my two boys, and I loved raising them. And I would, from time to time, ride their asses because it's part of life. Just because you're not feeling like putting up with it, and you don't want this, and you don't want that, and you don't want to fight, fight's going to come your way, like it or not. Like it or not. One of my sons got popped in the mouth. He wasn't ready for it. The other son, he liked to fight quite a bit more, and he did some popping. But we all need the discipline. My kids learned work ethic. Bucking hay. And fucking Lucas one day was walking along next to a big stack of hay I was on. A bale of hay slid off and hit him from about 10 foot up, knocked the piss out of him. He just got up and went, Dad, be careful, man. Tough little shit. And now he's a tough big shit. Love that guy. Anyways, kids need the same. They need to get the shit knocked out of them. Hell, at that age, you can get hit and, you get right back up and fucking walk off, right? You get a little older and you get hit and it hurts, and, it takes a little while to get over it. Anyways, Chelsea, I really appreciate you and the husband out there and your great donations. It keeps this channel absolutely funded so we can keep being here daily. And I'm not working 3 jobs trying to pay the frickin' bills. And it is that tough these days, folks. 2 jobs, 3 jobs. Yeah, oh shoot, John, you're making the Biden unemployment rate look good. Super chat donations come down right here. You get your thoughts, comments right on the screen. Woo! Now, yeah, I can feel that scotch. When it kicks in, boy, you can start feeling it. You can feel it. Okay. Let's do it. Mr. Uman, have we got some more super chats out there? What's going on? We got Dan Erickson with a $10 super chat donation. He says, the media and the Democrats, our democracy. The media and the Democrats, our democracy. They always claim we've got a democracy. If it was truly a democracy, there would be 4 Democrats on Mount Rushmore. Oh, man, I tell you what. Sorry. No, not going to happen. This idea, the Mount Rushmore, like huge busts of American patriots up there. Did you know that down in, I think it is El Salvador, where they've got that very, very much nationalist, I don't want to call him a Republican, but he is a patriotic lover of his country. They're tearing down communist statues. Their country was once run by socialists. They're tearing down those statues. I tell you what, I read that and I was happy to hear the communist statues were coming down at the same time. I think it's very important that we remember who we are and where we came from, right? Who we are and where we came from. All of these statues they want to take down and remove. Bad. Big mistake. Big mistake. The Confederacy or flag of the Confederacy, right? I think it's I think it's an attractive flag. It's not the stars and bars, but it's an attractive flag, and it reminds us of our history when the North and the South fought because the North didn't want the South to escape. That's what that was about. Ending slavery was a secondary or tertiary portion of that war. It was a financial war. It was a war about resources, most of all. Right up north was industrial, manufacturing. Down south was more agricultural. And the North didn't want the South to get away. And so they didn't. Anyways, I just think that there's so much more to history in this world. I want to thank everybody for coming here. Share that internet address. Make sure you've thumbs up. And of course, if you want to comment, you've got to be a subscriber. And here we go. Mr. Uman, you've got your hat on backwards. He means business. He's moderating and laughing at me. Here we go. Only got that much scotch available, so let's have some fun. And it's Chelsea Weirung back again. Chelsea and husband in the house, pouring another $50 super chat donation, which is a great way of saying we want the show to go on. We need the people to be aware, to wake up, to get prepared. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Now, part of medicine, folks, is gear lubrication to help keep the lights on, right? Gear lubrication. I've never called it that before, but you think about it, it may as well be. Down the hatch. Chelsea, Semper Fi to you and the old man. God bless you. Okay. Man, that hits. Keep the lights on. Thank you, Mr. Uman. Okay, it is your show. It's Sunday Night Live. Whatever you want to talk about, your subject can become the thing we discuss on the show. The way to do it, super chat donation right there and put into the comments with it what you want to discuss. There's a lot of stuff going on, folks. We haven't even scratched it and we're 45 minutes in. But it's coming. It's coming. The shit is going to get very, very nasty. Now, Joe Biden has made the claim that the only reason Trump is ahead in the polls is because he has not been challenged. Can you believe that? Trump hasn't been challenged? Civil suits, criminal suits, attempts to, throw him in jail. He hasn't been challenged by all of the media that's against him, by all of the political pundits in all 50 states and around the world. He hasn't been challenged. Well, Biden says this. In a way, he's about to be challenged. But I'll tell you what, there's something really interesting about that. Quote, in a way, he's about to be challenged. Really, Biden? Is that another arrest threat or maybe an assassination threat incoming? Well, it's interesting, folks. In an interview with George Stephanopoulos, what a putz he is, Biden said, in response, right, he's losing in the polls, right, by a wide margin. And he was asked, right, he's like, not when, this is Joe Biden's quote, not when you're running against a pathological liar. Just fucking time out. Biden, talk about, Kamala Harris is the hoe calling the kettle black. Talk about the moron. Just how do you even say that? Right? Not when you're running against a pathological liar. This coming from the man who has claimed every trade, every job, he claims to be professor and a teacher and a coal and a truck driver and a miner and he claims to have done everything. 40 years ago, folks, 40 years ago, He ran for president back then, 40 fucking years ago, when he was just old enough to be qualified. He started running for president, and he was disqualified, eliminated for lying and plagiarizing, stealing other people's work and claiming it as his own, just as he has done the last 4 years. In his last campaign, through the election, as president. So let me continue with what Biden said about Trump. Not when you're running against a pathological liar, not when he hadn't been challenged in a way that he's about to be challenged. And he said that with a nasty, sinister expression. So I'm just thinking to myself, what surprise is in store for President Trump? Will they arrest him again and hold him in a gulag jail on trumped up charges through the election, and pun intended, or just murder him openly like John F. Kennedy, JFK? Murder him openly in public in front of the world. And then no one in politics, folks, no one would dare run against Biden and the Democrats, leaving you and me, all of us, to either submit or to pick up our arms and fight back. That's why they can't assassinate Trump, because that's a statement that you will not go against the Washington, D.C. political machine, the FBI, the IRS, the ATF, nothing. And let me make this statement really clear. If they assassinate Trump, I will not pay federal taxes ever again. I'm now going to do that. If they assassinate Trump, that is the federal government saying you will not have a voice in Washington, D.C. You will not have true representation. You won't have a say in anything. This is no longer a constitutional republic, and this is the final word on it. We've assassinated Trump. Because if Trump is assassinated, that's what they're saying. And I will not pay taxes ever again. Not to the feds. Fuck it. I've never even said that or thought it in my life, but it just occurred to me. If they do that. Now, if they arrest him, that's one thing. Whatever. Right? We're fighting that. Trump has been fighting that and winning it. But if they assassinate him, they murder him, I won't pay taxes ever again. I don't know what that would do to me. They would, of course, try and attach any wages I ever tried earning. I'll work for cash. I'll work for cash only. I'll go mow fucking yards for money. Fuck these people, folks. It is that close. If this election goes and Biden or Kamala somehow wins, it's over. It is literally over. So why continue to pay for my own enslavement? Now, I am not recommending anyone else think like me or act like me. This is just me saying, you know what? It might be time to become just a little bit more patriotic. It might be just a little bit closer to the Declaration of Independence time for me. It is getting that bad out there. And I don't want anyone to do anything to endanger yourself, your lives, your jobs, your families, your property, your investments, your fortunes, nothing. But you know what? I've had it with these people. I fucking had it with them. They're that bad. Biden, in the condition he's in, folks, is going to threaten Trump with he's going to challenge him. It is unbelievable and crazy. I mean, Biden, he's incredibly nose blind. He doesn't know he stinks to high heaven. This is what he said, literally. Biden said this, that he'll drop out of the 2024 race if, quote, God comes down and tells him to, end quote. This is the same interview with George Stephanopoulos, the little short pea-brain midget. He says Stephanopoulos is the Clinton ass-kissing machine. He is the Democrat Obama ass-kissing machine. I've had it with these fucking people, folks. He's going to drop out. Biden has no idea that what is going on out there. If God comes down and tells him to, then he'll drop out. Are you kidding me? He's going to drop out. I mean, listen, who has it? Now, let's be honest. If they were to assassinate Trump, who would you blame? If Trump gets killed, who are you going to blame? You going to blame Antifa or BLM? If he is assassinated, it's because it was allowed to happen and caused to happen by the Washington, D.C. deep state. What will you do if Trump is assassinated? Who is going to stand up for America if Trump is assassinated? Do you think anyone would stand up for you and me again? If they can assassinate Trump the same way they did JFK, where are we at now? Now, this is going to be an honest discussion. When JFK was assassinated, many people knew it was the CIA, the mafia, Dallas, the Secret Service. Everyone was in on it. But we still had America. We still hated communists. We still loved our country. We still had Independence Day fireworks. We still had a love of country. There was just some serious disagreement about how we were going to go about preserving our republic and fighting communism. And that's why they assassinated him. Who was going to control the money? That was a big question. JFK double-crossed, literally, the mafia. He used them and then screwed them over, believe it or not. And you can go watch that 3.5-hour documentary if you want. It's called Every War is a Rich Man's Trick. It's on YouTube. It's right there. Now, if they kill Trump today, it's because he wants us to have Independence Day and a strong country and have it to be anti-communist. Now we have communists in charge. So if they kill him, there's no one left. There is no government left. It is just an enormous structure in place to control us. And that's why I'm like, you know what? There's no more participating. Not for me. Not for me. Not anymore. Is that radical? Is that crazy? Is that stupid of me to say I won't pay taxes again if they assassinate Trump? Or is it an indictment of the system under which we live and the times in which we are living? Or is it just the Scotch talking? Well, I guess we'll find out, won't we? It wasn't until I had several Scotches that I started thinking like that. Like, you know what? As I see my notes, yeah, this thing, right? Biden, the idiot, wants to threaten Trump that way. The same way he threatened all of us when he stood behind the thing and said, my patience is wearing thin. And the time he had his speech bathed in red light. Very Hitler-esque, if you ask me. And now he insults our intelligence. And he insults the Almighty and says, well, God's going to have to come down to tell him to step down, to drop out of the race. He's a moron, folks. An absolute moron. Do you agree or no? Well, let's find out. Bioxo says what? Mr. Uman, what does Bioxo say? Let's get into it. Oh, no, not Bioxo. Do we got some super chats? There we go. With a $1.99 super chat donation, he says, what's with the hysteria on this 2025 stuff? You know what? I don't know. It's the Heritage Foundation. This is according to Ridden Fernick answering Bioxo. He says, it's the Heritage Foundation, and the left considers it a far-right think tank, but Agenda 2025 takes us back to our Constitution, and Trump implemented some of it in his last term. Okay, so, we don't like the United Nations. We don't like the World Economic Forum. We do not like, right, globalism because it is anti-America, anti-nationalism, and the 2025 is, yes, the Democrats, their version of what they hate, the idea of going not crazy, not to Hitlerland, Nazism, but back to our Constitution, back to the rule. Remember that book I had, that little Constitution book? Very simple rules. Government, very limited, small. It can deal with countries on a national basis. You want to have a war over there? We'll come over and kick your ass. But beyond that, the federal government shouldn't have much authority. Not much at all. But it has grown and grown and grown and grown to where it's an enormous leviathan. So the Heritage Foundation and other shall we say, right wing. No, how about freedom-oriented people, freedom-oriented think tanks? They've got a program, right, that says we need more freedom and liberty. I agree. I think we need less statism, less welfare, less money collected from people like me and you and redistributed to others. The redistribution of wealth is a socialist concept. A socialist concept. And there's this, there's several great black philosophers, folks, like Mr. Soul. But I do like Walter E. Williams. He used to say, why does the government subsidize one farmer over the next? They'll pay a farmer not to raise hogs, for example, because they want to make sure the hog price stays high. I'll tell you what, I won't grow any hogs either. Why am I not getting the same money? Well, they're redistributing wealth. It's a welfare state. We need the welfare state shrunk and then eliminated. That would be fine by me. Anyways, folks, that's what's going on with this 2025 stuff. They're afraid of the Constitution. They're afraid. No worries, man. No worries, brother. They're afraid of the Declaration of Independence. And I read it on the 4th of July. It is our right and it is our duty, right? When a government becomes abusive, unresponsive, when it starts doing things that hurt the people, right? We have a right and a duty to get rid of that government and replace it. It is our right as much as any other right, the right to life, the right to liberty, the right to keep and bear arms, the right to speak, the right to worship as you see fit, the right to think, act, travel. It is your right to travel. You don't need a state license to travel. You don't need a state license to transport your property. But try taking your car down the road without a license and a license plate and a registration fee paid to the king, and they'll steal your property. We need to get back to our liberties, folks, and stop thinking that taxes and government is going to save us. Look around. What is government doing? Not enough for us and everything against us. Let's do this. Let's have some more fun. Super chat donation time. Chin Music is back with a $9.99 super chat donation. He says the whole Trudeau. And he's talking about Canada's Prime Minister, Justin Turdhole. The whole Trudeau thing is quite perplexing, considering all my Canuck friends are sports-minded alpha types. When I see little Justy, I see the OG Megasoy. Rhymes with tag, meaning F-A-G. The little OG Beta Soy, he plays with dolls. If I was president, I would make Chin Music my Secretary of State, America's prime ambassador to the world. Of course, we would have to make sure that you wear a bow tie with your your political statement T-shirts. Anyways, yeah, it is perplexing because Canadians, when I meet them, they seem to be nice people. And I equate niceness and politeness and sounding educated with intelligence. I'll ask you this, Chen. Have you ever met Australians or Kiwis, New Zealanders? Also very polite, very nice, well-spoken, soft-spoken characters, right? And they love their sports, man. You get between someone and a television during a rugby match, look out, right? You'll get messed up. But for some reason, politically, they're weak. Politically, they're uneducated. Politically, they don't see the historical political implications, the decisions that are being made today. For some reason, there's a disconnect between where they're at and the political belief system of the voters. They don't see the two causing the troubles they cause. By the way, we're over 300 people live right now, And I want us to head closer to 400, so share that internet address. I tell you what, Jen, yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting how Canadians and indeed the English, I don't know how Ireland got as far along as they are, where they've got just sweeping hordes of jihadis going through their towns, harassing little girls. Literally. I watched a great video, though, over the weekend of he was speaking 3/4 Gaelic as he chewed out a Muslim for hitting on his 14-year-old daughter and trying to convince her to go with him and obviously become his wife. And this guy was apologetic, and he kept bitch slapping him and chewing him out, right? Otherwise, the Irish, they're fucking Irish. They'll fuck you up if you get in a fight with them. They're nasty people. Love the Irish. The fighting Irish, they mean that shit. They love to fight. Anyways, the point is right, how did it get that far in Ireland? The fucking Scots, they aren't even on a different island from the English, and they fight the fucking English. And the English, they don't care. They fight everyone. They fight the Scots. They fight the Irish. They fight the French. They're crazy too. But now it seems like they're a bunch of softies. They got fucking limp. Justin Trudeau, right? It's crazy business. They love their sports. When it comes to politics, fuck it. We don't need our brains. Let's just keep voting for this shit that's ruining us, and maybe it'll change and start working someday. No. The definition of an insanity is to do the same thing again and again and again, hoping for a different result. Hoping for a different result. Woo! Got my whistle wetted. I stray from the Prepared Mind script, and the Scotch instantly reminds me, shut up, John. Focus. All right, Mr. Ooman. Where are we rolling? And we've got you're going to challenge my Spanish with that. El Cuenta. He says, Trumpsters are as bad as libs. If you think he will fix this country, you are in for a rude awakening. It's all a smokescreen. The 1% run this country, bud. I want to thank you for this great super chat, $4.99. And I want to thank you for this great comment challenging me. Thank you. Trumpsters are as bad as libs. I know why you said that. It's not fucking true. What is a Trumpster? What is a liberal? A liberal hates this country. Trumpsters love this country. Liberals want to destroy our Constitution. Trumpsters or American patriots want to save our Constitution. They're not as bad as. Now, we'll take that part of your sentence and set it aside. I just refuted you. They're not bad. Loving the Constitution, loving your country, loving your neighbor, loving your rights is not bad. There's no fucking way we're as bad as libs if you're a Trumpster. Now, he says, if you think he, meaning Trump, will fix this country, you are in for a rude awakening. Now we're on a little more common ground. El Cuarenta. If you think he will fix this country, you're in for a rude awakening. What is the evidence I have that he will fix this country? Well, when he was president from the 2016 election, basically until he lost the 2020 election, what did he try to do? He tried doing all kinds of things, and he was constantly hamstrung by Congress, the Senate, the bureaucracy, the media. He discovered that we don't have opponents that are confined to one party. He discovered we have rhino Republicans. Where would you, El Cuenta, and the rest of America be if it wasn't for Trump? We would still be thinking that, well, the Republicans are all good. We learned what fucking rhinos are in a very big way, how dangerous they are, how much they hate this country. I mean, we already knew people like John McCain and Mitt Romney were fucking sellouts in the Republican Party. Same with Mitch McConnell, right? He's a fucking turd stain. All of these people. So Trump helped educate this country. Did that fix the country? No, but let me continue. And you're going to get more than your $4.99 in super chat donation value out of this fucking discussion. If you think he will fix this country, you're in for a rude awakening. He's already helped this country head towards fixing it. Americans love Trump. Now, when Trump campaigned the first time, if you were a member of the Prepared Mind audience, you would hear me bitching about Trump. Why? Because he was competing with Hillary Clinton to give money to this group and that group and to buy votes and to do this with government spending and that with government spending. Everything was government spending. I'll spend. I did not like that about Trump. I still don't like the idea of spending your way to prosperity. If that fucking worked, I'd be a zillionaire and I'd keep spending to get more. It doesn't work, and I get that. Will he fix it by running the way he did? By the time he got done with his first 4 years, he realized there's a big problem in this fucking country. The deep state became an issue. The FBI wouldn't do anything about the laptop. In fact, they lied about him being a Russian asset. He learned real fast that all of Washington, D.C. is a shithole. And he was like, I'll drain the swamp. With who? Jeff Sessions? He couldn't do a fucking thing with that sellout rhino sack of shit. Bill Barr, whoops, found out the entire Department of Justice, Attorney General's office, the entire fucking bureaucracy in Washington, D.C. is shit. And he flushed and nobody went down. They just swirled in circles. They were obstinate turds who would not go down. Okay, this is great. And I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, El Cuenta. I'm getting there, Mr. Uman. Save your thought. You're going to put that one back up there as well. Let's get El Cuenta back up there. I'm having fun with this. This is great. Where'd he go? I'm in for a rude awakening. I am wide fucking awake, and it is rude as fuck. I'm already rude awakened. Okay, I'm pissed off. Why? Because Trump helped this nation get to that state. People are far more patriotic today. And I'm talking about the people that hate the country, the libs. I've already just put off there, right? And then you got patriots over here. Patriots are now, this is how patriotic they were before. Now they're up here. There are, as pointed out by Dan, over the last several weeks, he hasn't seen a single fucking Biden-Harris bumper sticker, flag, or yard sign. And he lives in a blue fucking state in a blue city. There's no motivation for those fucking people on the left. But there are, on the other hand, huge motivational, patriotic factors, and America sees Trump as that. He has inspired patriotism. So Trump will not fix this fucking country, 100%. But you, me, patriots, Americans who are now this much more patriotic, we will fix this country. And it's because Trump has been the target they have tried to fucking get rid of. And all America has said is, no. You don't fucking do that in this country. And he has helped wake America up. He is not going to save America. We are going to save America. He just happens to be the guy running for president. And all of us have looked at Trump getting attacked by the media, politicians, bureaucrats, judges, lawyers, prosecutors all over the country attacking the fucking guy. And we're like, that is bullshit. Consequently, it has woken America up. That is what we needed, is the people to wake up. How many times have you and I sat around? How many times have you and I fucking sat around and said, I wish my fucking family would wake up, my neighbors, my coworkers, these lazy motherfuckers won't wake up. They're too stupid, right? Well, Trump is waking him up. All of us. I have always been this fucking patriotic, folks. Cut me, I bleed red, white, and blue, right? I love America. I hate the government in D.C. because it is not American. It's anti-American, as evidenced by the way they act, the laws they fucking pass. This is great stuff here. He will not fix this country. We will. But he is responsible by being in front and taking all those fucking arrows and bullets and grenades. They're trying to nuke the motherfucker. And he won't quit and die. That is American patriotism when you say, fuck you, I ain't dying. I am not going down. I'm not fucking quitting. See what I'm saying here? Now let me continue. You said it's all a smokescreen. Now, I understand that that is a conspiracy theory that I've entertained in the past. And I believe there's a potential that it's real. And that's why I asked the question, why would you continue to wake up America with every attack on Trump? Why take the fucking chance of waking up America and ruining their plan? Why not just have a sleepy piece of shit in there like Mitt Romney or Kevin McCarthy or some other fucking loser like Jeb Bush of the Bush clan? Right? Another sleeper fucking rhino piece of shit Republican to run against another sleeper puppet piece of shit Democrat. And we would all just be like, yeah, let's vote for the lesser of two evils. Oh, look at what's happening to our country. It's just like Canada. We got our own turd hole here. It's just like France. We got our own version of Macron, right? We got our own Boris fucking Johnson. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I needed that. Fuck. This is a great comment, dude. The 1% run this country. Bullshit. The 1% own 99% of the wealth. But who runs this country? We do. I am not going to accept responsibility. No, I am not going to disown my responsibility and blame the 1%. That's why I've started this fucking channel a decade ago, man. Because I wasn't going to say, Washington, they control everything. And the 1%, the bankers, and the Zionists, and the Khazars, and the aristocracy of Europe, and the Pope. I'm going to blame all them and just say, yeah, I ain't doing shit because they run this country, bud. Fuck that. This country's run by us. They've got the money, yes. They're controlling the media, yes. But what have we done? We've been fighting back and waking people up, man. Waking people up. That's what I'm fucking talking about. That's why I started the Prepared Mind channel, because chance favors the prepared fucking mind. Get prepared, right? All these items. Get prepared. Understand current events, what's happening. See what's going on. Wake up your family, your neighbors, your friends. Discipline your kids. In the meanwhile, we've got the left doing their shit, trying to tear down this country, inviting a fucking invasion, giving away all of our munitions to Ukraine to throw it away and piss it away, donating money around the world to other countries, giving hundreds of billions of dollars to Ukraine. That's not us. That's the 1% doing that through their man, Biden. So yes, the potential of it being a smokescreen is Trump is just pretending to be that side. To what end? Right? You have to ask that question using logic, reason, common sense, critical thinking, etc. To what end do they bring in Trump? So that we get all excited and angered and pissed off with our 600 million fucking guns? Is that it? They want the people with 600 million fucking guns pissed off and knowing they're the ones? No, they loved it. They loved it when it was Bush versus Gore, and Bush versus John Kerry, and Obama versus McCain, and Mitt Romney versus Obama, and Bill Clinton versus Bob Dole, and Bill Clinton versus George H.W. Bush. All that low monotone fucking bullshit politics selling us fucking out down the fucking river for decades. Decades. Think about it. Why rile us up now? Why poke the fucking hornet's nest? 600, 700, who knows how many hundreds of millions of guns in the hands of patriots who love this country. Why wake the sleeping dog? El Cuenta. I have to ask you, man. So it could be a smokescreen, and I've entertained that, and I hold that out there as a conspiracy theory that's very, very much a potential. But to what end? So they wake us up so they know who the bad guys are so they can just fucking come and kill us? Well, it's you and me, us here on the Prepared Mind channel that aren't getting injected with the Jim Jones fucking juice. Their people are the ones dying of fucking sudden heart attacks. Let me give you that, right? Let me give you this. This is all from Darcy T, by the way. All right. It's now time. Ah, shit. Don't fucking erase that. It's now time for the Pfizer update, right? Kamala Harris is fully vaccinated, triple boosted, douchebag of a husband, Doug Emhoff, right? The man who marries a complete fucking whore who got to her political position by being on her knees under the desk, given the Hawk Tua Lewinsky style. This guy is tested positive for cerveza bug. That's right, guys. They're killing themselves. They are. Darcy says, hey, John, the Jim Jones juice never takes a vacation. Follow me on this, El Cuente. Follow me on it, right? It never takes a vacation. Oh, right. The lioness actor. He's actually a fruit salad looking freak. His name was Mike Heslin. And maybe he was a super duper staunch conservative. Doubt it. Died age 30. Unexpected heart attack. The dude's actually, the picture they had in the news was him doing the double, right? The Cobra flex. He's like one of those smooth fruit salad looking, skinny jeans wearing type muscles. Not big man muscles, but little itty bitty, cutely shaped and defined. I hate those guys. Right, anyways, if you want to have a bicep, it needs to be bigger than 21 inches. That's a fucking bicep. You don't get to do muscle poses unless you got like big naughty fucking muscles. Anyways, sorry about that. That last shot of scotch that I took got me. Anyways, hang on there, El Cuenta. We'll get to the point. This actor fucking dies. Mike Heslin, dead, unexpected, age 30. But wait, there's more, right? An actress also fucking died. Another 30-year-old actress, dead. Done. All they've done is wake us up, and they're killing their own people. If they wanted to kill us, why don't they just come and kill us? Instead, they've convinced their own people to take the Jim Jones juice, and they're fucking dying, which is horrible in a way. And I pray for everyone to get detoxed if you're a Republican, a patriot, a constitutionalist, and you got roped into it because the government threatened you, right? The 1% are running, Mr. El Cuente. They're running the Washington, D.C. They don't run the country. This is our country, and we have a right to take it back through force if necessary. With our 600 million guns, half of them are AR or AK. Just it is inestimably stupid on their part to wake us up using Trump. Talk about then this is great, man. And again, I want to thank you for this great fucking statement or series of statements. Rude awakening is every American who's woken up because of what they've done to Trump. I don't think Trump is the most conservative, most constitutional-minded president ever. I don't think he's the same great philosophical statesman like Ronald Reagan, but he's the leader we need at this time to wake up America. He has stood up and taken every fucking punch, every shot, every sucker punch, every cheap shot. And all it's done is wake up America. A rude awakening, yes. A rude awakening, you bet. And a rude awakening is fucking needed. So you want to wake up fast? Someone throws a bucket of fucking water on you while you're sleeping? That's a rude awakening, but you wake right the fuck up. And you wake up swinging and shit. Fucking pissed off, throwing hooks at the air. If you've ever had someone wake you up throwing a bucket of fucking water on you, you wake up swinging. So I love the fact that it is Trump. If it's a smokescreen, it's the dumbest fucking smokescreen ever. Good stuff, man. Anyways, Mr. Uman, I want to have your comments now, please, if you will. He says, I think he means the ones that think Trump can do no wrong. Those people aren't just Trumpsters. They're asleep inside their head. Those are people who loved Trump 8 years ago and are asleep. I'm sure there are people like that who think he can do no wrong. He's not the most conservative guy, but he's done what he's done. And so I admire him for that. Anyways, Trump has done some things that deserve criticism. I'll tell you what, man, he's done a lot of things that deserve criticism. And he's done some good stuff. And I've just detailed a lot of the ways in which he's done good stuff. I think the best he's done is the rest of the world respects the man. Except for communists and socialists and pieces of shit in Europe, it's only because they believe he won't go over there and use the military to kick their ass, right? They're like those little ass kissers that when you're talking to them, they kiss your ass. As soon as you turn your back, they're talking shit about you. That's turd hole. That's Macron. That's Boris Johnson, right? That's every loser in Europe. The Euro trash over there. Stand up and act you like men, not those fucking guys. They're pussies, right? How about Fico? Fico, the president of Slovakia, a couple of weeks ago took some fucking bullets from an assassin. I want to talk more about that, right? Crazy stuff. I tell you what, dude, I'll be honest about Trump. I think he is serving a purpose that is incredible, and I love it. And that fucking, it was a great fucking comment by El Corriente. I'm not good at Spanish, folks, but I'll do my best with my Spanglish. Great comment. Fucking nailed it. Because you gave me the opportunity to explain the differences between Trump and a Reagan and why we need someone out there who is so fucking pig-headed as Trump, who won't quit, back down, go away, shut up. You call him a name, he fires back. The man's got fucking balls of steel. Anyone that says he doesn't, I don't know. I don't know what you would use as evidence that he doesn't. In any event, this is some good stuff, and I'm really enjoying the shit out of it. Mr. Ooman, appreciate it, dude. Yeah, oh, well, you criticize the fuck out of him. I don't like spending government money and buying votes. I don't like it. Fucking hate it, and I hate that Trump does that kind of shit. He does pander to the voters, but, right, kissing babies. Right. Last thing I want to do is kiss someone else's baby. That's disgusting, right? Baby puke all over the place. It's so cute. Yeah, it's right. That's politics. And he does the politics thing really good. I don't admire that. I admire the fact that he's out there and he'll fucking throw down with anybody. Okay, let's have some more fun. Yeah, great stuff. Dan Erickson, $10 super chat donation. He says, I'm thinking at this point they think Joe should go first. If something happens to Trump, I say DeSantis is number 2. Woo! Joe, they ran into some big problems, Dan. They ran into some big fucking problems with Joe. He should have stepped out a long time ago because the Democrat Party has been collecting money in the name of the Biden-Harris ticket. And they can't just give that money to anyone else. Apparently, they didn't know the rules and they didn't look into it. They've allowed Biden to hang on just like Ruth Bader Ginsburg until it was, too late. And she couldn't hold on anymore. And she took her left-wing, anti-American, child molesting seat on the Supreme Court to her death. And she gave it up. She gave it up. Unfortunately, we didn't get anyone better than Amy Coney Barrett for it, who has just been a huge disappointment. Anyways, that said, Joe can't go unless they go with Kamala, who actually polls lower than Joe. The Joe Harris ticket polls better than the Harris Gavin Newsom ticket. Did you know that? Unfucking believable. Okay. So if something happens to Trump, I say DeSantis is number 2. Now, listen, I actually think DeSantis would be a better president than Trump. If we were in a world that wasn't run by the 1%, the Washington elite, bureaucrat, deep state, New York City banker cartel that is puppet controlled by European banking and aristocratic cartels. I think DeSantis would be a better president. But he is not the same fighter as Trump, And he would not wake up the patriotic spirit of this country, the fighting spirit of America. Remember, folks, in the Declaration of Independence, there weren't enough middle fingers to give the King of England, but they gave them all they could. The entire Declaration of Independence was a slap to the face, an insult. By every term and definition and act, they called the King of England a bastard and an asshole, and a tyrant and a despot, not fit to rule or lead men. Imagine being someone who's like, I was born with the divine right to rule everyone that my country conquers. America said, fuck you. Fuck you, you fuck. You big, stupid, aristocratic German fuck. That's right. He is a German, folks. Running England. England has had German royal blood running them way, way, way back. Now, doesn't matter that I have German blood either. Guy's an aristocratic sack of shit. And the entire Herzog family and the rest of them are shit. Anyways, I digress. The people of England, New England, the colonists, were Trump. They were the Trump of their time, and they were also the statesmen and philosophers and great thinkers of their time. They counted amongst them, folks, all the great minds of the 1700s. Truly, the great minds came together philosophically as well as with anger and disgust for tyranny, and they finally had a fuck enough of it, and they got a hold of their fucking hairy cojones, and they went after the king and said, fuck you, get out of our country. Right? Understand that. I don't think DeSantis could inspire that the way Trump does. I don't think so. But if I was to have a room full of statesmen and fighters, I would have DeSantis and Trump in that room. I love DeSantis. He's a great governor. That's why I came down to Florida. As much as I love Texas and Texicans, fucking love them. But I came to Florida because of DeSantis. Abbott's a great fucking governor. He needs to be more hardcore constitutionalist and independent. And I love Ken Paxton, the Attorney General for Texas. And I want more Attorney Generals to be like him and more governors to be like DeSantis. This has really been, with this 4th of July weekend, extremely emotional, if you want to use that term. It's been a rough one. I've done a lot of thinking. I've done a lot of healing this weekend, a lot of crazy stuff. It's almost been an American religious experience for me. Now, crazy, crazy business, folks. And I talked about FICO. I've talked about FICO, the leader of Slovakia, right? Leader of Slovakia. He got behind and supports Viktor Orban. Viktor Orban is the leader of the European Union right now. Right? He's not like the president of Europe, but he is the leader of the political body known as the European Union. And guess what he did? He went over and met with Vladimir Putin. Is it because he's weak? Is it because he's stupid? Is it because Viktor Orban is a puppet of Putin? Or is he a brilliant man? And he went over there and he said the quickest path to peace was to go visit Putin. He says the point of NATO is peace, not endless war. Right? It's a voice of reason asking for the war to be ended. Putin has continually said, anytime you guys want to talk, let's talk peace. Instead, NATO is threatened and threatened and threatened, and they keep sending more war, sending more people to their death. That is the 1% who want to send people to their death, whether it's in a war zone or with the Jim Jones juice. Anyways, the push for this getting rid of globalist attitude, ignoring the 1%. Hey, FICO supports Orban, and FICO took some bullets. understand what these people want. They want death and destruction so they can run it all. Do you think maybe the 1%, and this question goes out to everyone watching right now and everyone who's going to watch this great broadcast for the next week, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, is do you think they're trying to start a civil war in this country by riling up patriots and riling up the fruitcakes so that we fight each other and destroy this country and leave it in shambles so they can pick up the pieces? So they can pick up the pieces and rule what is left. Well, I think I would rather take a chance and destroy the enemy within the country and then fight the government at that point, knowing I'm not going to get shot in the back while I'm moving forward to take back our country from these 1% scumbags. The 1% scumbags, by the way, they are not people who live in our neighborhoods and drive the fancy cars, the big Mercedes and Jags, the Rolls Royces and the Bentleys. That's not the people that I'm worried about at all. They aren't rich. They're only rich when compared to me. They aren't the real rich and the real powerful. Those people hide. Anyways, this has been a great show. I'm having a good fucking time. We're 90 minutes in. We got a half an hour to go. Mr. Ooman, I hope you're having as much fun as me. And it's Luke Thompson checking in. He says, how soon will we start to see the effects of Saudi Arabia leaving the petrodollar? We're already seeing the effects. What he's talking about, the petrodollar or petrol dollar, because, we call it petro. Other countries call it petrol. Anyways, the oil dollar, the oil-based dollar. Saudi Arabia worked with the United States government after we came off the gold standard, the suspension or closing of the gold window, the suspension of the gold-based dollar, which has been pretty much permanent for the last 50 years. If I came up with a rule for 50 years, people go, that's not temporary. Nixon said it was temporary closing the gold window. It's been closed for 50 fucking years. Most companies go out of business after that, but not the U.S. government. In any event, Saudi Arabia said, okay, yeah, we'll accept your protection, United States of America. And we said, then good. We'll protect you from communism. And you, right, will only accept U.S. dollars in exchange for your oil. Saudi Arabia has pulled the plug on that. And so are the rest of the countries in the Middle East. And they're joining the BRICS Union, BRICS, which has dozens of nations that are members, organized with, allied with, participating in, joining, wanting to join, representing, I think, 7/8 of the world's population and 9/10 of the world's resources. Okay, it's very powerful. The effect is already happening. Now, what are they doing, Luke? They're trading their bonds in. They're not buying U.S. Treasury bills, notes, bonds. They're not funding our government by trading their stuff for our bonds, our dollars, in other words. Dollars are coming back. No one wants dollars because they don't have to have them anymore. Consequently, the dollar is losing its influence. It is no longer the world reserve currency. Now it is a member of the world currencies. It is still the prettiest pig in the pen, but the US dollar is getting covered in more and more shit. It is a debt instrument. It is not wealth. This, my friends, this is 1 ounce of silver. That is wealth. A paper dollar is not wealth. It is a bill, a dollar bill, a $1 bill, a $10 bill, a $100 bill. If someone hands you a bill, what do they want? They want payment. That is a debt instrument. Nobody wants American debt instruments anymore. And so they're slowly getting rid of them. If they get rid of them too fast, we have an economic crash. And because it is a global system, we're under a globalist control system. other countries would fall with us. So they are slowly, Luke, slowly divesting themselves of dollars, slowly. Treasury bonds, bills, whatever you want to call them. T-bills, bonds, notes. They're slowly getting rid of them. Slowly. But they're getting rid of them. What happens when the rest of the world doesn't need our currency anymore? We lose world reserve currency status and preferential nation status with everyone else. The BRICS nations are also forming their own monetary debt settlement system. They're not going to use the American SWIFT system, which is essentially a world Visa card. You use the Visa, you pay the Visa. You use the Visa, you pay the Visa. These other countries, Saudi Arabia, say, you know what? We saw what you did to Russia. You fucked them out of $500 billion worth of currency, debt instruments. So we're not going to play that game anymore. We don't want to own your money, your bills, because you can freeze our account. And then like you did to Russia, you can confiscate that account. Who wants to be friends with a friend who steals your money? Nobody. The consequences of this are it's going to return America to a very, very, shall we say, unimportant place. We'll be important because we're large. We're going to be important because we have a lot of resources in America. Yes, we do. We do. But we're not going to dominate the world. Russia dominates the world of nuclear weapons compared to the U.S. Still. So we don't dominate that. The superpower of our U.S. Navy, that world is changing. That world is changing. Weaponry, tactics, strategy, it's all changing. And this country hasn't kept up because we've got a bunch of fucking screwballs in Washington, D.C. screwing it up. In any event, Luke, thank you very much. Leaving the petrodollar, the effects, we're already seeing it, and it's going to get worse. We could see a very big move. Last thing, Luke, this October, the October surprise is going to be politics, as usual, Republicans versus Democrats, Trump versus whoever the fuck is on the Democrat side. And also, I think, in October, when the BRICS meeting comes, they're going to announce how gold is going to back their debt settlement system with gold. 40% gold, I think, is and they're letting it out early because they don't want to shock the system. They don't want to cause a crash. They just want there to be a conversion from one system to the other, as smooth as possible, a transition in power, so that they don't ruin their countries as well. China's in big trouble, folks, economically. Russia's actually doing very well, right? They want to make sure they don't rock the boat and sink the boat. They just want to put America on its own boat and float them off. All right, let's continue if we shall. We got a lot to talk about and just a little time left. Truth Faction is back. He says, as my Marine brother says, he is off. He is more... Wait, let me start this again, man. As my Marine brother says, he is more off than more on. He is more off. Credit to Michael Rood quote. Yeah, he is more off than more on. Very good. I love it. And semper fi to your brother, man. Semper fi to you all, by the way. All right, Mr. Uman, let us continue, if we shall. Next, Super Chat donation. If we've got more, do we have more? Let me come over to here. And let's see. I go over here. I got an Uman super secret stash. All right. And let's see here. Let me do this and then do that. There's Uman. All right, he's back. Who's up next, dude? Who are we gonna put in there? He must have had to go get another beer. It's Chelsea Wirrung and husband back with a $1.99 super chat donation. And she says, I was living good with Trump in office. That's correct. Right? Okay, yeah. If I was to be in prison, if they were to come and arrest me and actually catch me without killing me and say, John, we're sending your dumb ass to prison. We need you to shut up. You talk too much, too loud, and you're too damn persuasive, you big, tall, Swedish, Germanic, Celtic bastard. We need to shut you up. I would rather be in the prison that has 4 hours of outside exercise and 3 hot meals and a shower where I don't have someone trying to plug me in the ass the whole time. All right. I would like that prison more than the prison where I have the opposite. Right. Anyways, yeah, I was living a lot better with Trump in office as well. And I did not believe that was the best economy ever because I'm not retarded, even though Trump claimed that all the time. But I certainly was living a lot better with $1.99 gas in Florida and the South than I do under Trump. I'm sorry, Biden, when it went up to $5 a gallon, right? It went back down, and he is giving away all the strategic national gasoline reserves he can, trying to bring the price down. He's doing what he can to make himself look electable. Woo! Yeah, I was living good with Trump, right? Yeah, it was slow motion destroying America versus let's just kill America now with Biden. But there was a change. Now in 1970s, I remember the gas crisis. I remember being in my mom's car as we waited in line to get filled up with gas on only those days when your license plate matched with what you could say. If you're an odd numbered license plate, you can come in on, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And the other time, it's Tuesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays. And I guess Sunday was a free-for-all. I don't fucking know. Anyways, and then Jimmy Carter years. Oh, good God, the Jimmy Carter years, right? Tuna casserole. That was gourmet food in the Jimmy Carter days. And then Reagan came along, and the country woke up. The country became pro-America, passionate. The hostages were being released. Iran was afraid. Russia went, oh, shit, we got a real president. Right? Things got better. Same thing happened with Trump. We had fucking 8 years of Obama lying to us. What a sack of shit. Obama, you can't say enough bad things about the man married to a man, Obama, right? And then his puppets in Congress. You have to vote for and pass the Obamacare if you want to read what's in it. What a shit show. And then insurance went up from a point where I could afford insurance for my entire family to a place where I couldn't afford insurance just for myself. Going up 40%, 60%, 30%, 50% every year under Obama. America's pathetically being destroyed by a sack of shit who was born in Kenya, who fucking lied about being born in Hawaii, produced a forgery and submitted that to the public. And then Trump came along and America became patriotic again. He wasn't the perfect president, but he started waking us up. And I love that about him. And life was a lot better after Obama with Trump. And now look where we're at. Look at what we got. We got the biggest theft of an election ever under Democrat vote counting systems. And guess what they're trying to do? The Democrats, folks, in Washington, D.C., are going to try and pass, even though they don't have the votes, legislation to allow all illegals to vote. We want to talk about a national embarrassment. Is there any bigger way to tell America and the world we want this country destroyed than that, right? They're actually saying, this is what they're calling it. They're bringing out the big guns. I thought guns were bad. The House Democrats are, quote, bringing out the big guns because they want to allow illegal aliens. What are they going to do? Are they going to use deep fakes? Are they going to attack Republicans and try and destroy them? What big guns do they have? Every bit of control file. Every time a Republican has said something bad, done something illegal, went to on the Lolita Express down there, right? They're gonna use every little control system they can to try and get people to vote for that shit. It should be going the other way. In fact, the Republicans were supposed to be passing a law saying no voting. This is a national law, which of course the Senate won't pass and Biden won't pass, so it ain't gonna fucking happen. It's not gonna happen. But at least they were going to try that. Nope, it's going the other way now. They're going to push for it. We need to push back. Call, text, email, send Washington, D.C. Give them a nice arrow with a note on it, right? Carrier pigeons if you have to. Smoke signals telling Washington, D.C., our representatives there, protect our country, obey the Constitution, yada, 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 or we're going to have a lot more trouble. Mr. Uman, who's up next on this Prepared Mind channel? Caught me. Yeah. Had to go get another beer. I know. It happens. Hey, we got Jay Maskinnis in the hood. Here he is with a $2 super chat. He says, thank you for your continued efforts, John. You bet, John. And thank you for your continued efforts out there, folks. Mr. Maskinnis, he is on more than just the Prepared Mind channel. He is out there trying to make a difference, contacting and networking with everybody. And I think everyone should be doing this. Friends, family, social media, waking people up. Patriotic Americans waking us up. Look at what the left is doing. That should wake you up. Look what they're doing to our kids in school. Wake people up. Right? On every level, Americans are waking up. I mean, let me unveil this Hollywood retardation. The She-Hulk. There's a She-Hulk? The She-Hulk actress says that laws requiring parental approval on students' preferred pronouns are absurd. She actually said it's absurd that parents should have to give approval before a school can use their preferred pronouns. She says, this is the quote, that isn't a parent's place. Well, what the fuck is a parent's place if it isn't protecting their children from dangerous influences in school? Right? That's how crazy these people are and why we need to wake each other up. Thank you, Mr. Maskinnis. All right, Mr. Ooh-man, now to you. Oliver, who's up? It's Dan Erickson with a $10 super chat donation. He says, with all the older hand-me-down family guns, probably realistically 1 billion guns in this country. It wouldn't surprise me, man. Now, here's the deal, is I can only hold 2 at once. Let's just say there's 350 million Americans. That includes children, the elderly, and all the fucking Democrat scumbags. So even if every man, woman, child, elderly, Democrat, and red-blooded, patriotic, God-fearing, country-loving American each had a gun in each hand, there's still extra guns laying around. That's how many we have. Now, here, Dan, who knows how to properly handle and use a firearm safely and use it for the correct purposes? I would say no more than 100 million. 100 million Americans. That's one hell of a patriotic army. Wouldn't you agree? And if each of us had a gun in each hand, that's 200 million. We don't need more than 200 million, but yeah, we got close to 1 billion. I wouldn't be surprised. And now I'm going to throw this one at you, right? Hand-me-downs. How about illegal firearms? How about military weapons that kind of came home in Vietnam? That's full auto AKs, full auto M16s. How about all the weapons out there that are in the hands of, well, military and law enforcement that'll end up standing on our side and pointing towards the bad guys? You bet, Dan. We got lots of guns, lots of ammunition as well. Lots of ammunition. I want to remind everyone, make sure you got a 12-gauge shotgun with either some, you can have target loads, but I recommend number 2 bird shot, duck, game shot. It's a bird and rabbit or duck and rabbit for taking down drones. Because I think that if things went really bad, the Biden Pentagon would try and use drones on us. And it's only going to take a couple of people getting hit with drones before we realize what our government is really doing to us. It won't be the Russians sending drones over to take me and you out, folks. And I really believe that they are that bad, that they hate us that much. All right. Who is up next? We're running out of time, but I will stay here until we get all the super chats in, and everything you guys want to talk about, we'll get it talked about. We'll get it talked about. Truth Faction's back with another $2 super chat. And he says, will Victor leave NATO and join Russia? He's asking about Viktor Orban. Will he and Hungary switch sides, right? Will Hungary leave the European Union and go over to Russia? I don't think so. I really don't. I really don't. What Viktor Orban and Hungary have done is told NATO and the European Union, no. You are a bunch of petulant fucksticks. No. You're a bunch of spoiled brats. No. You're talking shit because you got the United States government, Washington, D.C., standing behind you, backing you. No. Europe is absolutely broke. And I mean financially, monetarily, as well as morally broke. They've got no leg to stand on against Russia, except the United States government in Washington, D.C. stands behind them. So they talk tough. But Viktor Orban and Fico are the loudest saying no to them. I don't think Viktor Orban and Hungary want to be part of the Russian Federation for sure. I don't think that they want to be anything more than friendly allies. Trump actually tried that. And as soon as he talked to Putin, what happened? He was attacked by the media, by the Democrats, by the Rhino Republicans, by the banking cartel, by the European asswipes. Why not be friends instead of enemies? Hey, look, I've got friends. If they punched me in the jaw, they wouldn't be my friend anymore. If they punched me in the jaw, there'd be a fucking fight and there'd be nothing left but blood and hair on the ground when we're done. That's what happens when you fuck with somebody. Russia, I don't think, wants to fuck with anybody like that. They're being satisfied dealing with, right, currently Europe using Voldemort Zelensky as their little attack terrier. And it is costing Russia some lives. It is costing Russia some money. But they're not being crippled by it, whereas Europe is being crippled by it. So it's a great question, Truth Faction, very much. I don't think Hungary and Viktor Orban are going to leave. I do think, however, that Turkey could leave NATO in a heartbeat, and that Turkey could join not the Russian Federation, but the BRICS Union very quickly. And it wouldn't surprise me if European nations would say, you know what, we're done with the euro. In fact, right now, if you think the dollar is bad, the euro is in worse shape as a currency. The European Union currency, the euro, is very, very damaged. So is the Japanese yen, as well as the Chinese yuan or renminbi, right? And the Indian rupee isn't the strongest thing either. That's why they're trying to get away from fiat currencies and trying to go back to reliable, shall we say, commodity and gold-backed currency systems. This out-of-control deficit spending every year, going in debt, ruining countries is going to ruin the entire system. It's a crazy world, folks. But great question, Truth Faction. Great question. I do not trust Turkey at all. At all. In fact, I would probably attribute any American military weakness to Turkey. I'm sure they've handed over as much avionics and, shall we say, radar and high technology that they've been sold by America. And I know America, the military industrial contractors and the government, have not allowed our best, newest, greatest, shall we say, equipment to be sold to Turkey, because Turkey is like that with Russia. Now, we're supposed to believe they're like that. They're certainly not like that, but they are pretty close allies. Not in name, but in practice. As Winston Churchill says, I don't care what people say, I look at what they do. And that was my paraphrase. All right, let's continue if we shall. Let's continue as I continue. Mr. Uman, where do we roll next? We want to talk about Dan Erickson back with a $5 super chat. He says, like my dad's gun, he gave me in 1953, which is a Winchester Model 94. That 30-30 cartridge kicks like a mule, especially with the steel butt stock plate. Yeah, he's talking again about the guns that are hand-me-downs. My grandfather he passed away when my dad was 11 or 12. He got his dad's 30-30, right? Winchester, and then he gave it to me, and then I gave it to my son. Yeah, there's a lot of hand-me-downs that are in pristine condition. Lots of them. And the 30-30, it kicks pretty good. But the few times I brought it out were to take out some coyotes and actually teach my kids, hey, this is a lever action. My kids, they like some strange guns, man. Lucas got a coach gun. He wanted a double barrel, and it's legal length, but it looks, it's a fucking coach gun, double barrel shotgun. He liked that. Called it his boomstick after Bruce Campbell's Army of Darkness movie. He wanted a fucking boomstick. I was like, you graduated, and I'm not going to tell you what grade he got that in, but you graduated, you get that gun, right? Anyways, God bless you, Dan. Thank you, sir, for the greatness and for being a great American. And I think everyone on here is a great American. And I love that we can share our opinions and thoughts, and you can challenge me. And I don't take it as an insult. You can call me dirty names. I might take that as an insult, but we can have some fun with it because I've been called every name in the book and sticks and stones, right? But being an American is the greatest thing I think ever, or at least having the spirit of America within you, because we have great people in Europe, up north, down south, and across the ocean that I think are just like us. Mr. Uman, I know we got some more super chats. I think I can detect it. We're running out of time, so let's get to them. We got David G with a $10 super chat donation. Ooh, the Dark Ages are returning to Europe. I always wondered how the first Dark Ages were allowed to occur, and now I know. You want to know, my man? Well, I'll tell you, David. We're moving into a neo-feudal system. I heard that expression 20 years ago. I was like, neo-feudal? Why the fuck would we put up with that? 20 years later, I'm like, how the fuck did they do that? Right? Well, they're getting rid of travel. Carbon bad. You can't do it. Carbon bad. No traveling. You have to stay within your 15-minute city. 15-minute city. Everything you do has to be in a very small area, just like it was during feudal times. You couldn't travel where you wanted, folks. 300 years ago, 500 years ago, back in the Dark Ages, you weren't going nowhere. The lord of the land, the nearest aristocrat, the nearest nobleman owned you, the property, and your family. You couldn't do shit. You had to pay them taxes, or he would send his men, whether it was a king or a baron, a count or a duke. They're all noble to you, and you were a commoner. They had divine blood, and you were a peasant, a pissant. It's neo-feudalism, the Dark Ages. Dark Ages, folks. What came about in the Dark Ages also? Oh, yeah, Islam. Islam at the time, folks, when they first came out, never mind Muhammad and wanting to marry 9-year-old girls and all that bullshit. At the time, there was an expression of intelligence within Islam. The first several hundred years of Islam were enlightened. Math, philosophy, poetry, science, the astrolabe. Look it up, astrolabe. A beautiful scientific instrument. Beautiful. Created by, well, the Middle East. But then they went dark. They went dark, and it got ugly. They've been trying to invade Europe ever since roughly the 1200s, right? They took over the Holy Land. They started invading up through Turkey, up into Hungary and Romania, trying to get to Austria. They tried coming up through northern Africa and then up through Portugal and Spain, and they got their asses kicked there and stumped. They, of course, invaded Sicily, the Moors did, and southern Italy, and then they got stomped there. north of Rome. But yeah, and they're still doing it. And they're back. And they've discovered a great way to defeat the West, to defeat white Europe. You want to know how? Outbreeding the white people. They've made it so expensive to have children that people don't want to have children. At the same time, telling you and me having children is wrong, bad. We're overpopulated. Whereas, a Muslim man can have several wives and all the children he can fucking manage. Don't worry, the state will feed them. Your country in Europe, Canada, America will feed these people. That's what's going on. The dark ages are returning. Thank you, David G. Ooh, man, what do we got next? We got Chin Music with $4.99 super chat donation. Bam. He says, in modern warfare, there are only two types of vessels in the U.S. Navy: submarines and targets. Modern warfare. I tell you what, naval battles are not the same as they were. And it's interesting that type of warfare, Chin, it's always been incredible. Ship and ship building. How to build a bigger, better gunboat. When they went from wood and then over to metal, steel plating, the invention of the submarine, the invention of the torpedo, naval tactics, which then involved aircraft carriers, then carrier groups. Battleships became obsolete. But submarines, they've got such a huge advantage in so many ways because of nuclear power. They can submerge and stay submerged basically indefinitely, except for the humans on board needing food. That's the only reason they need to come up. They don't have to come up for air. They don't have to come up for fresh water. They don't have to come up to receive information. Can they run silent? Well, not entirely, but they do have countermeasures if they're attacked. Very stuff. So yeah, there's Navy submarines, and then there's naval targets, meaning surface ships. We never have gotten into a modern, openly fought submarine warfare. That hasn't happened yet. If it does, it's going to be a fucking mess. Thank you, Chin Music. I am not qualified to discuss submarine warfare, even though I've been on the U-308. I don't know the warfare the way I should. I just understand tactics, strategy at a layman's level. And you just see so much advantage to the submarine approach to things. And that's why I think the Russians, while they have surface ships, frigates, and a few carriers, they have a massive submarine fleet. Let us continue as we've gone past the 2-hour mark. But as promised, I will stay here in this chair as long as we have super chat donations and your questions, because this is Sunday Night Live. It is the zoo, and it's your show. And we got Nancy Keg checking in with a $10 super chat. It's Nancy. She's back, and she says, Semper Fi, prepared mind, family members. And I say the same thing to you. God bless America. Semper Fi to all. Let's fight tyranny to the last. Fight tyranny to the last. And don't give up hope. That is something I won't do. I won't quit. I won't give up hope. I will always fight these bastards. And that is what we need to do, folks. That is it. And I want to give you this one last, if that's it from Nancy, and thank you, Nancy. I want to talk about this. The New York Post has published an opinion. They said Kamala Harris would be a DEI president, right? As a woman of color. And she's not black, by the way. Her dad was a Jamaican. Her mom was from the nation of India. She just happens to have a tan, but she's not black. Now, I guess I don't know if we're ever going to figure out what's the difference between someone with a good tan and someone who's black. I've seen a lot of these illegals who've been arrested for criminal activity. The government calls them white, believe it or not, trying to skew the demographics. Good God. But back to the New York Post, warning that Kamala Harris, letting us know she's going to be the DEI presidential candidate. And the leftists, the Democrats, the communists, the racists are losing their shit over the New York Post. Well, God bless the tabloid for doing it. You see, DEI is a Democrat term that they created for political acceptance, right? Diversity, equity, inclusion. It was their way to force on businesses the desire of the government, the Democrats, to put minorities, to put fruitcakes into business positions, into positions of authority and prominence, positions that used to be reserved for people who were the best at what they do. Instead, they're like, we need more people of color and more people of this and more people of that, instead of just saying we hate white people. Right? So they are the racists who created this term. It's politically correct. DEI. Instead of saying anti-white, it's DEY. It's a created bullshit term. But now it's racist, according to Democrats, because they don't like it being pointed out that Kamala Harris is only in the position she's in because she is a diversity, equity, and inclusion candidate who became the vice president. Actually, first she became an attorney general. Then she became a state senator for California for a very brief time before being shoved into the VP seat under Biden for diversity, equity, and inclusion. And now the leftists are melting down. And you should hear what they're saying. Just say the N-word. Just say it. Say the N-word instead of saying she's a DEI candidate. And you guys don't have the balls to say it while they're using N-word instead of N-I-E-R, right? That's the dot or whatever, right? I'm not allowed to say it or I'll get a strike and removed and I'll be called a racist. So stupid. Folks, when I talk to black folks, they use the N-word. They say it out. Hard R. Sometimes it's got the A, sometimes it's got the hard R, and I don't give a shit. I really don't give a shit. I couldn't care less. It's just fucking word games. It's nothing but word games. A communist is a communist, a spade is a spade, and a DEI candidate's a DEI candidate, and the left doesn't like it pointed out because they don't want us to believe and know that, yeah, she's not qualified. The fucking ding-dong cannot put a sentence together in no way at all. It's crazy, folks. And speaking of DEI, one last thing. Up in Canada, Kentucky Fried Chicken now has halal-only chicken policy in Ontario. They're banning pork, right? They're banning pork and acquiescing to Islamic beliefs. And by the way, KFC is part of Pizza Hut and Taco Bell, PepsiCo. So I am now boycotting Kentucky Fried Chicken. Hey, there's Church's Chicken, Popeye's Chicken, PDQ, and Chick-fil-A. There's lots of chicken out there. It ain't just KFC no mo. So Taco Bell, that ain't Mexican food. It hasn't been good since the 1970s. And of course, Pizza Hut, there's lots of other pizza. Lots of other pizza. Fine. Give me some Papa John's. There you go. Papa John. That's who I am. I'm Papa John. And Pepsi? Never liked Pepsi. In fact, I don't drink cola products because it'll rot your teeth out of your fucking head. But fuck Coke and now fuck Pepsi and fuck KFC. It's done, folks. It's done. Everyone's picking sides. And you and I are prepared. Chance favors the prepared mind. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, and your plan. Thank you for supporting the Prepared Mind channel. It is time to get prepared and stay aware and wake everyone up. Share that internet address. Thumbs up. Ooh, man. Are we done? Are we caught up? Is there more? I think we're done, folks. Tomorrow, It's going to hit the fan some more. Wait for it. It's coming. False flags are coming. Financial problems are coming. Terrorist attacks are coming. Over the weekend, it was reported that a terrorist wanted by the U.S. government dropped his passport at the border. He is now in the country. There's lots of them, known, unknown, being recruited, being radicalized, and the government wants to blame you, the patriot. Talk about deplorable. I'm deplorable. You guys, God bless you all. Semper Fi.